Hello and welcome back to Digital Assets Daily. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are in your corner of the world. Here's a little article I'm going to get into for this video. It's going to be very interesting. U.S. Fed hires BlackRock to help execute mortgage-backed securities purchases. The U.S. Federal Reserve has hired asset management giant BlackRock to help execute the purchase of commercial mortgage-backed securities announced this week as part of the central bank's aggressive efforts to shore up the U.S. economy. Over the past week, the central bank has released a volley of measures to boost liquidity in the financial markets and get cash into the hands of small businesses and consumers amid growing worries the issue at hand could wreak economic havoc across the country. As part of the program, the Fed has committed to purchasing billions of dollars of commercial mortgage-backed securities (CMBS), secured primarily by multifamily home mortgages guaranteed by housing giants Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. The New York Fed said in a statement on Tuesday it had retained BlackRock Financial Markets Advisory to purchase the assets on the Fed's behalf from primary dealers in the market. BlackRock was selected on a short-term basis to serve as an investment manager after considering their expertise in trading and analyzing agency CMBS in the secondary market and robust operational and technological capabilities, the Fed said. BlackRock said it would release more details on the terms and conditions of the purchasing program in due course and would not discuss any purchases with dealers until then. Earlier on Tuesday, the Fed also told large banks that still expected them to submit the capital plans for the central bank's annual stress test by the original April 6 deadline. And said those plans will be used to monitor how firms are managing their capital in the current environment. At the same time, the Fed said it will give banks more time to address non-critical examiner issues and will temporarily reduce examination activities at banks. Instead, the Fed is currently focused on bank outreach to make sure firms can manage the challenge and risk brought on by the pandemic. And the board recognizes that the current situation is significantly affecting areas of the country in different ways and will work with financial institutions to understand the specific issues they are facing, the Fed said in a separate statement. The supervisory adjustments mark the latest move by U.S. bank regulators to reassure banks that the Fed wants them to continue lending through the economic downturn and that it will not pursue them for regulatory foot fault. Earlier in March, the European Union banking regulators delayed this year's stress test and eased some capital rules to avoid lenders turning off the taps over the issue at hand. Let me pause that. Let's see, the Fed is currently scheduled to assess the capital plans for 34 large banks with the results on June 30th, and I believe that is the end of that article. And as we move on to a next thing I want to share here, the ITU-T telecommunication standardization sector of ITU. Let me scroll down so I can explain a little further into this. This is the focus group technical report. And as you come down, just to understand a little more with the ITU, you have the International Telecommunication Union. ITU is the United Nations specialized agency in the field of telecommunications, information, and communication technologies. ICTs, the ITU Telecommunication Standardization Sector, ITU-T, is a permanent organ of ITU, and ITU-T is responsible for studying technical operation and tariff questions and issuing recommendations on them with a view to standardizing telecommunications on a worldwide basis. I want to get into this a little bit. Let's click down, and we have operational efficiency gains introduced by matured DLT systems would allow the wholesale CBD system to allow wider access to the networks without expanding the processing capacity of the payment system of IBM. Then we have another one here. The user actions, the e-pesos that are produced by the BCU are transferred to the RGC Global eNote Manager, GEM, that serves as a virtual vault and digital wallet. System actions is this component provides the storage, security, verification, certification of all transactions. The GEM was managed by IBM during the pilot, but it will be managed by the BCU if it goes live. And then we have here user actions. IBM provides cloud storage facilities and runs the call center. Then we have here the type role IBM, description, cloud service and call center provider. Then we have here central bank digital currencies, IBM. Report prepared by the official Monetary and Financial Institutions Forum in collaboration with IBM Blockchain Worldwide. As we've known for years, IBM has worked with the central banks creating digital currencies. IBM uses Stellar for its financial system. And then here we have IBM Central Bank Digital Currencies, IBM Blockchain Worldwide. So we'll move on beyond that. And the reason I shared that is because this new technology that we're on is from the telecommunications systems. And hence we have the new asset class. Here we have understanding central bank digital currencies. And I want to go into a few of these. You have the Alibaba IBM ranked top for number of blockchain patents filed globally, and we will get into that. Then we have IBM launches blockchain payments network. Then we have, that's another part of the same link. IBM officially launched universal payment system as WorldWire. Confirm Stellar Lumens, XLM. And then we have here, IBM, we already use Stellar Lumens Live and much more in Q2 2018. Then we have Official Monetary and Financial Institutions Forum, IBM Blockchain Worldwire, Central Bank Digital Currencies. Then we have Alibaba, IBM, MasterCard, Top Global Blockchain Patent Rankings. Then here we have the commercial war on blockchain technologies are rife between China and the USA, with Alibaba, IBM, and MasterCard filing the most patents for developing new use cases of blockchain-related technologies. And we'll move on to some of these links. IBM officially launched Universal Payment System as WorldWire. Confirm Stellar Lumens. Then we move to IBM. We already use Stellar Lumens Live and much more in Q2 in 2018. Showing up some of these older articles because they are very relevant to show how long they've been together, and the reason it's very hard to find any current stuff on Stellar because Stellar is labeled the invisible currency, and it is layered under so much information that it's hard to find anything because it's not specific and it's broken down on purpose. And again to remind you, Stellar is a non-profit organization, which means I can know more possibly about Stellar than they do because no one has to have permission to use it. They can just choose to. Let's go into this. A handful of the endless highlights include that IBM is already using Stellar Lumens Live for cheaper and faster cross-border transactions. The world is very, very close to seeing central bank issued digital currency tokens, and there's a very good chance of it being on the Stellar network first. Stellar Lumens are intended to be the primary bridge asset in IBM's universal payment solution. The Stellar Distributed Exchange will be a centerpiece of future strategies. IBM currently has no plans to issue its own token, and is instead pushing Stellar Lumens as the coin for its clients. Stellar is an integral part of IBM's strategy for the future, and IBM is building its own solutions on top of the Stellar system. IBM aims to use Stellar to corner the international payments system in direct competition with Ripple, and already has a long list of clients set to go live with Stellar Lumens International Payments Q 2018. Again, just a reminder on this, they are not in direct competition. They are focused on different lanes. I've shared that many times over. And that, again, it's hard to not like Stellar or vice versa. It's hard to like XRP and not like Stellar, as they're basically the same, focused on different aspects of the financial institution. Here in the next article, we have Alibaba, IBM, MasterCard, top global blockchain patent rankings. We'll go slightly into this. While the disruptive and innovative blockchain technology continues to find increasing use across multiple business sectors. A lot of patents are being filed for developing unique, new age blockchain-based systems and applications to get the early mover advantage. A new study conducted by IPR Daily, a leading global intellectual property IP technology media firm which focuses on IP services and IP industry ecosystems. It ranks the global companies based on the number of patents filed, according to CoinDesk. The Chinese and American companies dominate the list, and among the companies leading the drive to build blockchain-based application, Jack Ma's Chinese conglomerate Alibaba Group Holding Inc., BABA, B-A-B-A, along with its affiliate companies, ranks first, with a total of 90 patent filings that are focused on blockchain-related technologies, and the leading information technology group, International Business Machines Corp., IBM, comes a close second with 89 patent applications. And the third place position is held by global payments and technology company MasterCard, MA, which has 80 patent applications. All right, we'll move on from there. And here we have Global Payments newsletters from December of 2019, and there is a lot of information this in regards to CBDCs. We're just going to scroll down. You have the Singapore MAS proposes changes to regular payment token derivatives traded on approved exchanges, and obviously other stuff on top of this as well. And see here again, this is where I believe derivatives is, in my opinion, something I believe XRP will be taking over, because that's more of the institutional wholesale grade. And I'm sharing this video to show different aspects of where I think XRP and XLM will be working side by side. I don't want to say together because so many people misunderstand that, whether it is legitimate or whether it isn't. That's not the focus. It's working side by side on different lanes of aspect on this. And the UKJT, United Kingdom, says crypto assets can be property and smart contracts are enforceable. And again, a lot of people are aware that Ethereum is like a smart contract system, but so is Stellar. It has a great smart contract built in as well as an exchange. And then we have the SEPA payment scheme rulebooks enter into force. The United States FinCEN director says stablecoins are money transmission services and so covered by its rules. And again, there is so much going on. Europe, EU says global stablecoins should not come into operation until concerns have been addressed, on and on. And then here we have it from the 2020. We'll go into a few of those too. Actually, here's a quick thing I want to pull out from the headline too. Italy, the Italian Ministry of Economy and Finance, MEF, is consulting on a draft decree on criteria for testing fintech initiatives in a sandbox environment and establishing a fintech committee to be chaired by the MEF. And a lot of things that Ripple had done in XRP, Stellar, and etc. before all of the regulations were out were through these sandboxes, because that is like a legal limitation to it on which they can test and try all of these new technologies, pre-regulation, etc. Here we have Italy. EMF consults on the fintech sandbox, the more details into that. And then we have ACCC finalizes open banking rules, which is all part of this, and that's the only reason I'm sharing this information for some of you new people. France, we have new legislation finalizes implementation of MLD5. The European Commission publishes its 2020 work program. Here we have Global Central Bank Group launched to assess cases for central bank digital currencies. So these two are very extensive. I'm not going to go any further on the two, but from 2019, 2020, I believe they're very relevant. If you're interested in more of the technology side and understanding what's going on, I included these on purpose because the links will always be available in the description below on our channel, so you can further research these and do more understanding. The only reason I'm not going to each and every one of these on the whole thing is it's very extensive, and this video would be very long. I try to keep it as brief as possible, but some videos tend to be very extensive either way. On this, we have the USA Central Bank Digital Currency, and the headline says it all. The BIS paper lays out crucial design choices for CBDCs. Here we have Bank of England's discussion paper on central bank digital currencies. I want to go into this for just a little bit. Let's go into the bank's approach and objective. The discussion paper focuses specifically on retail CBD, and which is critical for that is, again, we focus retail. The more readily available would be the Stellar, and the wholesale is more readily available. For the XRP, we just can't quite figure out what it's going to do, whether it's going to move all assets as the bridge currency from even the central banks, or is it going to actually be part of the central bank digital currencies? That's the thing that's kind of tossed up in the air. I believe if it is used as a CBDC, then it would have to fall on the wholesale side and or possibly the bridge asset too, because it does like the cross-border thing. So we know Stellar also is available through IBM to do wholesale, but I know, again, it focuses more retail peer-to-peer, and the unbanked and underbanked tends to be the lane it is in. So right now there's a lot that's up in the air. The reason I think CBDCs on a retail level will be probably used through IBM is they've been working with them, with Stellar, for years. And then they continue to say they were very close, even 2 years ago. Back into this, the discussion paper focuses specifically on retail CBDC as a use case. Accordingly, the bank defined CBDC as an electronic form of central bank money that could be used more widely by households and businesses to carry out payment transactions and store value. Akin to a digital version of traditional banknotes, CBDC would be denominated in a pound sterling and introduced alongside rather than replacing cash and commercial bank deposits. It would effectively provide a new form of central bank money, with the bank having exclusive control over its issuance and a new payments infrastructure. The bank also points out that CBDC would be fundamentally different to cryptocurrencies, e.g. Bitcoin, which are privately issued, as it will be centrally issued by the bank and will have the equivalent value of sterling. And we know that Wirex just worked with Stellar to create 26 new stablecoins, and we also know that Stronghold is a USD-backed digital currency that's based on Stellar as well. The discussion paper makes clear that the introduction of the CBDC should be overlaid by the bank's objectives and mandate and take account of public policy initiatives. Perhaps most notably in recent terms is the emphasis on support for fintech and related financial services innovation set out in the government budget published on 11th of March 2020. Please find our previous discussion on the topic available here. They do have a link that feel free to click that if you do further research on it. The bank released the discussion paper with the following broad central objective for CBDC. Households and businesses should be able to make fast, efficient, reliable payments and benefit from an inclusive, innovative, competition, and competitive and resilient payment system. The bank also sets out that it intends for CBDCs to be available for at least the following types of payments. In this respect, the bank's vision is broad and captures a range of different payment methods currently available, such as cash, debit, credit cards, direct debits, standing orders, faster payments, and backs. The focus in this regard is solely on domestic retail payments in a single currency, i.e. sterling, whereas domestic wholesale payments currently handled by CHAPS and cross-border payments are not within scope. The bank is addressing these types of payment as part of a renewal program for the bank's real-time gross settlement system and in the context of its future of finance initiative. I think what I want to go from here is directly into this thought, bringing up the CHAPS as it is stated from, let's see, where were we? The initiative. Yeah, it said wholesale payments currently handled by CHAPS. And again, supporting my theory on Ripple executive Marcus Treacher appointed to the CHAPS board. As we've shown over and over, Ripple constantly focus on wholesale, institutional, enterprise, and you have Stellar more focused on the retail aspects of financial institution. I'm going to go into this because it adds to my point of, I believe, everywhere I find Stellar, I find Ripple. Everywhere I find Ripple, I find Stellar. And even having thought that Stellar was done and was probably had failed, the past, let's see, our channel on the 6th will be 6 months. In that deep research, after being requested to open a channel and share more information, I began finding Stellar everywhere. And again, this proves my point with that theory. Let's get into the article. As it says, Ripple is honored to have Marcus Treacher, Global Head of Strategic Accounts, appointed as an independent director to the Clearinghouse Automated Payment System, the CHAPS board. CHAPS company is the United Kingdom's electronic payment system that guarantees same-day settlement for high-value payments. And again, as we know, Ripple is designed for high value. I don't believe there's going to be anything worth more value than XRP because of its design to move high-value payments. It processes approximately 277 billion pounds daily from its 24 direct participants, who in turn serve over 5,000 financial institutions as indirect participants. Marcus Treacher has been appointed as an independent director of the CHAPS board to accelerate its innovation agenda and promote fair access among indirect participants. His previous experience at HSBC, and we know that that's a massive bank, as we've explained it many times on this channel, and currently focus at Ripple, demonstrates his dedication to utilizing technology to improve banking. I'm honored to join the CHAPS board to work directly with its members to promote innovation in financial technology. Pardon. Said Treacher. CHAPS is integral to the UK's banking system, and I look forward to playing a part in its continued success and evolution. CHAPS also welcomes Noel Harworth as Senior Independent Director to focus on scheme governance. Harworth serves as non-executive director of Standard Life plc, the London Metal Exchange, and Sirius Minerals, as well as chairman of GE Capital Bank Europe. On the recent appointments, the Tim Fitzpatrick, CHAPS co-chief executive officer, stated, Noel and Marcus, with their considerable experience in financial services, add significant depth to an already strong board. We will capitalize on this as we press on with our ambitious plans to meet the challenges rising from new regulation as the ever-increasing demands of our service. Here we have PNC and Blackrock deep dive. It's a pretty decent article. Let's scroll through a little bit of this, because again, I continue with this video to show the BlackRock connection to Stellar and Ripple equally. Let's take a deep dive into the PNC and BlackRock connections with Ripple and XRP. 2018, we get the news that PNC joins RippleNet. 2019, we get the news that PNC is going to start using RippleNet. All the amazing news, PNC is only the 8th largest bank in the US only. So how does BlackRock play in all this? PNC actually owns 22% of BlackRock. PNC holds a minority ownership stake in BlackRock, one of the largest publicly traded investment management firms in the country. BlackRock works on behalf of institutional and individual investors worldwide through a variety of equity, fixed income, liquidity, and alternative investment products. In addition, it provides risk management, investment system outsourcing, and financial advisory services to a growing number of institutional investors. And there we have it again, institutional connected to Ripple. BlackRock, which is the largest asset management firm in the world with roughly $7 trillion in assets under management, has long declared an interest in cryptocurrencies and other alternative investments. Back in April of 2019, BlackRock hired a former Ripple executive. I think they meant former. It confused me for a little bit. BlackRock hired a former Ripple executive, Robbie Mitchnick, who is now set to lead BlackRock digital asset team. Coincidence? I think not. Mitchnick has been involved in the crypto sector for a few years now and is regarded as one of the best minds behind Ripple. The former Ripple exec has a deep understanding of cryptocurrencies and their underlying technology, and he is said to be interested in solving some of the murkiness around how investors view digital currencies. Get a load of this. Robbie also said that XRP is had about a 25% chance of success And back in April, he said the current value 159, 823, success value 32.91, failure value $6.37. Do you think those numbers have gone up now? So why would BlackRock, which PNC owns 20% of, whom we might mention is a Ripple partner and has been pushing forward for the past 2 years, hire a Ripple executive to lead their digital asset team? Why on earth would they do that? XRP is the future. And then here we have coincidence. BlackRock hires former Ripple executive. Basically, another article just to reassure the credibility of the last article. BlackRock Inc., the largest asset management company in the world, is set to undergo a massive management overhaul with the aim of focusing on alternative investments. And the company recently hired a former executive of Ripple who was tasked with leading the digital asset team in the firm. BlackRock to focus on alternative investment, and BlackRock, which is the largest asset management firm in the world with roughly $7 trillion assets under management, has long declared an interest in cryptocurrencies and other alternative investments. The company has now made a bold move by hiring a former executive of Ripple, Robbie Mitchnick, who is now set to lead the digital asset team at the company, with crypto on my mind. But we're getting close. All of the stuff that's going on today, everything continues to make these crypto and digital assets more valuable. Back into the article, Mitchnick has been involved in the crypto sector for a few years now and is regarded as one of the best minds behind Ripple. The former Ripple exec has a deep understanding of cryptocurrencies and their underlying technology, and he is said to be interested in solving some of the murkiness around how investors view digital currencies. And you can read the experts to discuss the IEO trend at the Moscow meetup. It's a big link here if you choose to further research that and click on the article below. He, however, believes that the XRP only has a 25% chance success rate, etc., as we just discussed. BlackRock Inc., very much interested in crypto. In July last year, the CEO of the company, Larry Fink, revealed that they are currently evaluating cryptocurrencies. He stated they've been assembling a digital currency unit that is looking into blockchain tech and crypto such as Bitcoin. However, he noted yet to see the massive investor demand for such services at that time. During an interview with Reuters, Fink stated that as the largest asset manager in the world, its interest in crypto assets could be a catalyst for upward price movement. He hoped that their entry could encourage other asset managers to explore the investment opportunities present in the crypto industry. And on November 1st, 2018, Fink, while speaking at the New York Times Deal Book Conference in Manhattan, pointed out that BlackRock would launch a crypto ETF. But the market is not adequately regulated for them to do that yet. And he stated that for them to introduce a crypto ETF, the crypto space would have to be backed by a government, with the decentralization of the industry a problem for BlackRock. And again, here's another link if you're interested. Fink is optimistic that a day would come when the company would have an electronic trading for a currency that would serve as a store of wealth. However, he noted that the world doesn't need a store of wealth at the moment. And Fink added that even though the company is skeptical regarding cryptocurrencies, they are firm believers in blockchain technology and its power to revolutionize the financial industry. And even on the new Stellar website, they even have it listed as also a store of wealth. So that's very interesting. We're going to go in here. BlackRock, this is from 2015, so you can see the timeline. Stellar had at BlackRock. Thanks so much for having us. So they've been connected that far back. Digital investment bank WeVest goes with Stellar blockchain for security tokens. The digital investment bank WeVest has announced it has selected Stellar as its preferred iteration of blockchain for issuance of security tokens. In a blog post, the Berlin-based fintech stated, after extensive diligence and testing, WeVest has identified Stellar as the most suitable platform for its new project. Stellar appears to be gaining traction in the security token issuance sector. Recently, the BaFin-approved digital bond offering from Bitbon selected Stellar as its blockchain of preference. In March, IBM announced the launch of WorldWire, A global payment system that operates in real time would be built on Stellar. And Stellar Lumens XLM is a top 10 crypto with a market cap of around $2.2 billion at the time of this article, launched in 2014 by Mt. Gox and Ripple co-founder Jeb McCaleb. The platform's first focused on the transfer of fiat to crypto, and their mission is to connect people to low-cost financial services to fight poverty and maximize individual potential. Today on its site, Stellar promotes itself as the future of banking. Stellar.org operates as a not-for-profit, accepting donations while keeping 5% of the lumens to fund its development. And as we've stated here, again, it's a big deal that it is not-for-profit, where XRP, Ripple, is for-profit. There's a reason that they are split that way, and the opposites on for-profit and not-for-profit. Time will reveal that clearly as we try to share the best we can here. Back into the article, Stellar was backed by Stripe and has since listed Google and BlackRock and others as corporate donors. And we do know that Google did invest financially in the beginning startup of Stellar and Ripple. Google doesn't do anything that it doesn't believe is going to be a big success. Here again we have basically the similar thing. Let me see where, I believe it was, right here. Basically just an additional link as I try to show you guys to show credibility and the consistency of this. Stellar's focus is developing economies in the areas of remittances and bank loans to those who are still outside the scope of the banking services. It doesn't charge individuals or institutions for using the Stellar network. It received initial funding from the payment startup Stripe and donations from organizations like BlackRock. Google.org and Fast Forward. It covers the operational cost by accepting tax-deductible public donations and by using the 5% of lumens set aside initial for the purpose. And another article I wanted to include in this, before I get into this, another thing too that makes Stellar such an amazing option for, which is the XLM for the lumens, an option for being the physical currency. Besides, they did just change in the past year. Their new logo is a currency symbol which will be used. And if you put it beside any other currency symbol on the planet, and then you put the new updated version of the symbol for Stellar, it fits right in as a currency, and it's pretty clear and obvious. The reason it's going to be a great option, if it is the chosen one for the actual currency, is because it is a nonprofit, just like the Federal Reserve, which has been a big hand on our currency for my lifetime until today, as that has just changed with the new rules, executive orders, and laws by U.S. President Donald Trump has just changed that as of today. Basically, he is now in control of that. But before that moment, Federal Reserve is also listed as a nonprofit, as well as Stellar Lumens. All right, now let's finish up with this last article. Integrated project delivery with blockchain and automated financial system. The highlights developing logical operators to estimate key IPD financial transactions, reimburse cost, profit, and cost saving applicable to typical scenarios, proposing a methodology to enhance financial and transaction management and risk-reward sharing practices in IPD, creating a toolset through IBM blockchain integration to provide an automated financial platform for IPD, creating blueprints for blockchain-enabled smart contracts for construction projects, and introducing a use case for Hyperledger Fabric application and IPD financial management. And everything in the highlight perfectly and literally describes Stellar. As we get into the abstract, we'll get into some more information here. Integrated project delivery IPD in the architecture, engineering, and construction AEC industry relies on risk reward sharing and deferral of parties' profit payments until all project activities are completed. A decentralized, automated, and secured financial platform is needed to enable all parties to control and track financial transactions with no unauthorized changes allowed. The new technology blockchain enables data to be recorded, has no network participant with dominant power, and manages data using specific functions in line with smart contracts. The present study, and the first to develop a framework proposing blockchain technology utilization in IPD projects. The framework would enable core project team members to automatically execute all financial transactions through coding the three main transactions of IPD projects, reimburse cost, profit, and cost saving as functions of the IPD smart contract to demonstrate the proposed framework's applicability. Proof of concept is developed and validated through an IPD case project. The practicality of the built-up Hyperledger network, IBM blockchain, Cloud Beta 2, which we know is entirely Stellar, and the advantages of the proposed smart contract functions, which again is Stellar, are examined. The user-friendliness of the proposed financial system and its efficiency in automating all transactions are demonstrated. No deficiency is found in the blockchain network components. The study's findings, applied in a favorable external context, would facilitate IPD adoption and use across the AEC industry by providing a workable solution to existing financial barriers. These findings extend the horizon for further research on exploring blockchain's capabilities to solve comparable deficiencies to those the AEC industry. All right, I want to finish up this thought before we move on. I believe, as in my research has shown, XRP and XLM, and I've shown videos stating from CEOs in the industry, that they are not in competition with one another. They're focused on different lanes. And as you can see tonight, as I included XRP and XLM throughout this and its connection to BlackRock, which is a main item in the news currently in today's cryptocurrency world and financial world, it's a pretty big deal what's happening right now, and everything's starting to happen so much larger and faster. If you've been here for a few years, that is. If you're new, I'm not sure probably what you're going through, but I would still say it's very fast. Again, my thoughts are XLM is designed to be a currency. I've connected them for many months now in a bunch of different videos on how they are already working with central banks throughout the world. And a big thing is they're focused on different areas. Again, XLM is more retail focused and XRP is more wholesale focused. And again, as I've shown in tonight's video, I know this was a little bit longer than I planned and I went through it as fast as I could, skipping a lot of details in the articles, but feel free to use the links below in the description. And if you want to further research the information we discussed tonight, because there was a lot I skipped just for time reasons and concerns. But again, I feel XRP has to have the higher price. From its creation, it has been my favorite of all cryptocurrencies. I did come in through Bitcoin, but ever since I came upon XRP, it has been my favorite since its ICO. And either way, moving on from there, I do believe now that XLM has a major role into this, and I think it'll be surprising to a lot of people in the entire crypto community, not just the XRP community, in the end where this comes out because of its contacts, connections, and its use case with IBM being so buried underneath the Hyperledger, underneath the WorldWire, underneath the IBM itself financial system, knowing that IBM has 97% of all the major banks that has been working with them for many, many years. And I mean, just one section of IBM has over 20,000 partners, so it's pretty significant. We're going to finish this video with a final thought. Cowards never start, the weak never finish, and winners never quit. Alright guys, this is not financial advice. It is for entertainment purposes only. Much love to all of you guys. We'll catch you in the next one.